Back, everyone, to the podcast that no one asked for, but that you get anyway. This is the Fourth and One podcast for those of you who cannot read, or if you're like myself, choose not to read. We are, of course, live from Linnets, Pennsylvania, the town with the most incidences of streaking, which is a real shame because you try to enjoy your dinner outside and a 300-pound naked man just runs right by you.
Dude, you get a lot of streakers on your street?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it is the coolest small town in America.
That is true.
Yeah.
2012 or whatever.
It's 2013.
I was 1 year off, okay?
You know what? That 1 year matters, okay?
Because it's garbage. I don't have that one loaded.
Oh,
wait, no, I do.
Because it's garbage.
There you go. What ones, what do you have loaded?
I have, obviously, the good old...
Figured out.
And then, because it's garbage, which will do it.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Which is one of my favorites. Of course, our favorite.
I'd like to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double count does what the he wants.
It's almost funnier faster. I thought I fixed that last week. Apparently didn't. Got to fix that next week. Okay, we have burn.
Became personal with me.
It's funny. It's funnier faster, isn't it?
It's funnier faster, but it just goes into the fact of how unprofessional this podcast has become.
Listen, this is the best amateur podcast in the world. And probably the highest quality amateur podcast. As far as podcasting go, this is probably the best.
This is probably, well, we are about making wild, uneducated accusations about things.
You know, it's about as frustrating as having to make a 4th and 1 decision on your own 40.
On your own 40. It's not that hard. You go for it every time.
I think I actually made it your own 49. I think that's technically what it is.
Still, though, I mean, most coaches will punt. When you're on your side of the field, most coaches will punt. And I'm like, anything past the 40-yard line, as long as you have a semi-good defense, just give up the 3 points and go for it.
I also feel like it depends on what quarter it is. Like, if it's first or second quarter, hell yeah, I'm going to go for it. If it's third or fourth quarter in a close game, okay, then, I'll make a decision to not, have my...
The only time I wouldn't go for it is with about less than 5 minutes to go and you're down or up 3 points or less. And then I would punt it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think statistics show it's better to go for it on 4th and 1. And to be fair, so does the dude from Michigan who plays for the Chiefs against the Browns.
Who plays for the Chiefs against the Browns?
Who played for the Chiefs? The quarterback? I forget what his name is.
Chad Henne?
Chad Henne, there he goes.
Yeah.
I wanted to go with Hinkie, but that's the guy on... There's Sam Hinkie, who's an owner, and then there's the guy on the...
Tyler Hinkie on the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Knowledge right here.
I'm impressed I could remember that many names.
Yeah,
I remember who they played for.
Well, you're getting better. Do you know who Sam Hinkie, who the owner? I think he's actually a GM.
He is a GM. You're correct. He was the Trust the Process.
Yeah, well done. Yep. Well done, sir. All right, well, I got a palate cleanser question for you.
I love palate cleansers. Let's start
I was out shooting around last night.
Nice.
And I came across the most demoralizing sound in all of sports. Would you like to take a guess? Or I thought about it.
Brick?
Nope.
You suck?
Well, that's a little hurtful.
Whoever threw this, your mom's a hoe?
Yeah. No. The most demoralizing sound in all of sports, in my opinion, is nothing but net. When it makes that rip sound, when you get nothing but cord, or I was watching the game last night, and Mark Jones, he goes at one point, he goes, Dylan Brooks hits nothing but cord. I'm just like, Mark Jones, and what he says is just excellent.
Okay,
but think about it. Steph Curry steps back, throws up this wild shot, and hits nothing but net. Gives you that wet, just whoosh sound.
The most iconic
Boom.
NBA moment in the past 5 years is
Kyrie Irving.
another Mark Jones moment is Steph Curry from 40 feet away against the Thunder with a minute left in OT.
That was Mike Breen, not
Breen.
Mark Jones.
Who did you say?
I said Mark Jones. Mark Jones did San Antonio and Memphis.
I watched the Lakers Warriors game last night. Who's Mike Breen? And it's bang,
Right, yeah.
bang,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Curry from way downtown.
Yep.
Bang, bang. It's the two. That.
But think about it. You lock up someone on defense, and you put in
and
all
then
this
you drill
defense,
it in the face.
and then they hit nothing but net, and you're so demoralized.
It's
Name
close.
a more demoralizing sound.
The sound of a ball coming off the bat that absolutely is just out of the park.
That's a good one.
And we're putting these in like situations, right? LeBron James 3 last night, a clutch 3, nothing but net.
No, I'm saying at any point in whatever game,
anything that comes out of Larry Bird's mouth.
It's demoralizing.
He was one of the best trash talkers of all time.
Except to Michael Jordan. He knew better than to piss off Michael.
He trash talked Michael Jordan.
Not when Michael was better than him. Only when Michael was worse than him.
That's the thing about trash talking. To be smart, you have to be hotter than the other player. I was thinking about this, right? I'd really like to play one-on-one with like Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry just to see, because there's sometimes in sports where I feel like, sorry, I shouldn't say we feel like, but the Monday morning quarterback, controversies where we're like, oh, I could have done better or whatever the case is. It's like, no, I don't think I could. And there's an aspect of, I want to see them. I want to experience firsthand how good they actually are.
Oh, no.
Living with a basketball.
No, for sure. I have told Kerry that on numerous occasions. I would like to go and just do a one-on-one game with Joel Embiid just to experience what that sort of talent feels like.
It would be absolutely phenomenal. It's like the difference between like a Formula One driver and a guy who goes to a track day. Just the absolute skill that they have going so fast around a corner. So,
alrighty. Well, we talked a little bit about basketball. We mentioned the two games. So why don't we start there? Start the show there. So last night,
did you watch the second game?
I watched the first half of the second game.
Okay,
I did watch all but the second quarter of the first game.
Perfect. So you can talk about the first game, and I got the second game.
Great. Wonderful. Well, there were two games that happened before that, the day before. So we said that the Hornets and Washington would win, and we were wrong. Indiana bounced Charlotte out. Those would be the Hornets. And then Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal didn't show up, and Tatum went for a fitty burger. And now the Celtics are locked into the 7th seed, and tonight Washington plays Indiana for the 8th seed. So just a quick prediction before we get into last night. Who you got tonight?
Washington, because Indiana is injured.
Yeah, I'm picking Washington. Shaq brought up a very good point. You don't have two bad games in a row if you're a great player.
That's exactly what I was just about to say.
Yeah. So they're going to come out swinging. Westbrook's going to get a trick dub. Beal's probably going to drop 35 plus, and I think Washington will then play Philadelphia in the first round. Okay, but then last night we had a matchup of the old veteran team. Well, as I go to find out, they're not as old as I thought they were, but the San Antonio Spurs took on the Memphis Grizzlies. San Antonio, coached by Greg Popovich, probably one of the greatest NBA coaches of all time. 5 championships, highest winning percentage of any coach. All that experience going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. Got Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, Jonas Valanciunas, And it was a great game. I expected it to be a little boring, and it was. Both teams did not shoot well. It was kind of embarrassing. They were missing wide open layups. It kind of reminded me of a rec basketball league.
Yeah.
But it was a great game down the stretch. Memphis came out and did exactly what I thought. They came out and jumped out to a 20-point lead. And then Jonas Valanciunas almost had a double-double in the first quarter. He finished with a 20-20 game.
Nice.
He almost had 20-20 at halftime. Went off the floor. San Antonio made a run, and then it was close for the third and fourth quarter. What I will say about this is, though those Memphis and San Antonio were the two youngest team on average, which I did not know. I thought San Antonio was a little older, but the San Antonio had the two older players in Rudy Gay and DeMar DeRozan, and DeMar DeRozan did exactly what DeMar DeRozan did in Toronto when he was in Toronto. Choked in the playoffs.
Okay.
And let's not, this play-in tournament, the NBA can say it's separate from the playoffs. It's the playoffs.
It's the playoffs.
And DeMar DeRozan went 5 for 21, still had 20 points, but it was mostly from the foul line. Rudy Gay had to carry the team. San Antonio needs a reboot. They need another superstar in the worst way. They kind of went from David Robinson to Tim Duncan, and now that Tim's gone, they got no one. Meanwhile, Memphis, everything's looking up for them. Ja Morant was excellent last night. Dylan Brooks starting next year, will be absolutely regarded as one of the best two-way players in the game. He's big, he's strong, he shoots well, he defends really well. He has just a get after it mentality, kind of like a Draymond Green, a Marcus Smart. He just wants to make your life miserable defensively, but he can shoot. And Ja Morant is spectacular. He didn't do too much in the first half, but he was absolutely just fantastic down the stretch for them.
10, 13, 11, so he finished with a triple-double.
Yep. He's just one of, right now, honestly, he's had a better career to this point than Zion, because he's made the playoff. He made the playoffs, and Zion hasn't yet, and he was picked after.
But before we get to the second game, what do you think? With that being said, what do you think of like the future of the NBA? I know this should be a question for after the season, but or with Jeb, but what do you think the future of the NBA looks like? Because I'm thinking like LeBron was just a star from the moment he stepped on the court in Akron.
Right. So
like, what do you think of the future of the NBA? Because no offense to Bron, but he didn't look like Bron last night.
It was, and this is a good question, and I think we should get into it more with Jeb whenever we have him on next or after the season. But I was thinking about that watching the first half of the Warriors-Lakers last night. Right, it's up in the air. It's up for grabs right now. The league, the superstars in this league that the league has been relying on are all getting older. They're all in their mid-30s.
Yep.
And so it's gonna be up to Tatum. It's gonna be up to Zion. It's gonna be up to Ja Morant. It's gonna be up to one of these younger guys to kind of take the reins and be like, all right, come on, let's go. Right. And I don't think Zion is it. No. Because LeBron had his team in the playoffs his second year. Zion didn't. I think it's going to be someone who we didn't expect, honestly.
Here's the thing with... Sorry, my ESPN's giving me annoying advertisements. For my 2 cents is you have to be a Warrior to be interesting. And we don't have any Warriors right now. We don't have anybody who just wants to trash talk or whatever the case is. And that's where I'm gonna leave you on a snippet for that, and kind of move on to the Warriors-Lakers game, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I was able to kind of watch the beginning of this game and the end of this game, most of the first half, and then most of the fourth quarter. And it was really a tale of two halves, which the box scorer would tell you. And there's a few things.
Warriors dominated the first half
Warriors dominated the first
defensively.
half defensively, which was actually their top 5 in defense. Which,
Yeah.
for everybody who doesn't understand, Warriors are not known for being a defensive team. They're a run and gun sort of team. They're a small ball sort of team. And for the first half, there was that was a problem for not LaMarcus Aldridge,
Andre Drummond.
Andre Drummond, and Anthony Davis. LeBron James was just not in shape, i.e., like his feel wasn't there, his muscle memory hadn't clicked back in. That's not on him. That's not me making fun of him. He's been injured. He's been out. That's what Mark Jackson and Stan Van Gundy sort of says. I'll come back to them in a second. So good on LeBron James. LeBron James is as clutch as we think he is.
That's why I picked the Lakers last night. I just thought he was a little more clutch than Steph Curry.
This is where I'm going to start to kind of rank. Good on LeBron James. Good on the Lakers. Warriors, you turned the ball over too many times in the second half. They weren't the fourth quarter team they used to be. That's on them. They have a possibility. They have a future, assuming that Curry and Clay can stay healthy, and Wiggins can just continue to be a player that he is. They need to get rid of Draymond Green. I think that's for sure. I don't think he does as much now. I think he got a little old. I saw a little bit of gray in his beard last night. They need to get rid of Draymond Green. They have a good player. I forget. He was undrafted from Marquez.
Marquette. Toscano Anderson.
Yeah. Juan Toscano Anderson.
Yep.
Kind of the same sort of player, except I think he can shoot and finish around the board a little bit better. Here's the thing. Couple things that I had a problem with in the game.
Okay.
And I don't know if you saw this in the Grizzlies-Spurs game. I was ranking worst officiating in sports.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
And the NBA is not at the top. Let's just put it that way.
For worst?
For best.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Soccer right now has the best officiating.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Baseball's at the bottom, and NBA is fighting with the NFL. To me.
Yep.
There was multiple missed calls and makeup calls, and I hate makeup calls, okay? Ball don't lie. Just allow the game to be played, okay? Get a hate. I don't care. Stop makeup calls. There were too many makeup calls by the refs, and the refs let both sides, well, really only the Lakers because LeBron's on them, just talk absolute crap to them all night. They made a call. They got together because LeBron came over and complained. I hate that. Okay? Listen, if you're going to talk to a ref, Draymond got teed up because he talked to a ref. I personally didn't like the tee. They called it a little bit early. They needed to wait about 5 more seconds, then tee him up. I'm fine with the tee. Do not get me wrong. I am totally fine with the technical there. But at the last play, Anthony Davis fouled Steph Curry. He was tied up with him. He was tied up with Steph Curry. Steph should have gotten off the ball foul. Now, they still would have lost the game.
Right.
But they missed it, and they were giving those calls to the Lakers. And I'm saying that a little bit salty as a bandwagon Warriors fan. Okay?
Right. Sure.
But at the same time, like, you can't allow that type of stuff to happen. And there were so many There was one time where I think it was Draymond or somebody just absolutely obliterated and should have gotten an and one, or like they just obliterated somebody and they completely missed the call. Like, just absolutely missed the call.
I mean, so the problem with really with any sport, but mostly the NBA and MLB, and those are the two bottom. I think you made that point.
I
those
agree
are
with
two
you.
bottom.
No, those are the two bottom.
With both MLB and NBA, there is regular season officiating and there is postseason officiating. Yeah. And in postseason officiating, they tend to let everything go. Like last night in the Grizzlies Spurs game, it was ridiculous. I mean, I said it was a 1980s game because it was a low scoring. They couldn't shoot. There was so much contact going on. Now, listen, I think that the hand checking that they're not allowed to do now, they don't allow enough contact. But in postseason, man, Dylan Brooks absolutely annihilated Rudy Gay on multiple multiple times and didn't get a call. Like Rudy Gay did a pump fake and Dylan Brooks basically jumped into him head first and
Yeah.
they didn't get a call.
There
Like
was multiple times that there was like Schroeder or Schroeder, however you want to pronounce
Schroeder,
his last
yep.
name. It's Schroeder. I think I've heard it pronounced Schroeder. Anyway, he got fouled on a couple 3-point attempts multiple times by the Warriors last night. Like, guys, come on. It's not
Yeah.
just be more it's not hard to be consistent. I think for the NBA to be more fun, they should allow more body action. It would get the big men more involved.
Yeah.
Because the 3 ball is such a big deal. Don't even get me started on the MLB this year. I haven't watched any baseball, but I've seen enough bad plays to know like reffing sucks. The fact of the matter is Frank Vogel last night should have either been ejected or at least had one tech last night for how much he was yelling at the team.
Pop was the same way. He was going after the refs last night. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. The NBA needs to fix postseason officiating. James Harden would always get these calls in the regular season, and he would go to the line. He would go to the free throw line like 15 times a game. And now in the postseason, now he might not because he's on Brooklyn, but when he was on Houston, then he'd go to the line like 5 times a game. And it'd be the exact same type of stuff that he was getting in the. So I'm with you. The NBA needs to figure out postseason officiating. It's out of hand. But I agree. When there's so much complaining on the players, that's just so annoying. Just shut up and play. Literally, I know that the players don't want to hear this, but literally in this case, shut up and dribble.
Well, this is what you're not wrong. This is what the MLB gets right. Is I'm okay with quick triggers for umpires.
Oh, and they throw everybody out.
And they throw everyone out.
Yeah.
Don't listen. This is okay. Hold up, rant time. This is something that America has gotten really bad of, starting like in the '90s for some reason. It's that generation past the greatest generation's kids.
Right.
For some reason, they think it's okay to yell at refs. And no offense, when your kid is playing soccer or baseball or whatever, you're yelling at a ref. That ref's not making enough money to care about it, right?
That ref's making $20 for that game. Yeah, he doesn't care.
If there was a couple times where us playing church softball where an umpire had to go to like the coach and be like, our coach, and be like, "Yo, you need to calm your dad down." And there might be that sort of thing where like a ref's getting yelled at, and we'll go to the coach and be like, "Whose parent is this? Because he needs to shut the F up." Like it's not going to happen. And I feel like that has spilled over into playing for. It's spilled over into playing for into the pros. Like shut up, like or be okay. Like fight the guy. Bring it back to 19. If you're gonna fight the guy, fight the guy.
Pull a hockey. Just drop the mitts and just start swinging.
Which we'll get into in a little bit, but like just absolutely shut the F up and be okay with you getting thrown out or whatever the case is. Don't complain when you get it. Soccer understands it. When a soccer guy gets a yellow card, he might like go, "Oh my gosh," but he got a yellow card. He knows he deserved the yellow card. I hate to be pointing at soccer for how to ref
because no one cares.
But the replay works. Okay. Hold on.
No one cares.
There we go. No, you're absolutely right.
They're offside. They're consistent. Their replay is fast, quick, and efficient and correct. Their consistency is great, and they handle managers and players fantastically.
Well,
done.
The best way to get the ref on your side is not complain about every little thing to him.
Yeah.
It's to joke around with him, and when he makes a good call, either for or against you, tell him that.
Yeah.
I have found even in rec league basketball, when I foul someone and it's like a ticky-tack foul, and I'll turn to the ref and I'll be like, "Good call. Good way to see that. I thought I hit it better. Great job." And then guess what? Now they're in my back pocket the entire game because they know that I appreciate it.
Yeah, and respect their call. And I feel like that's where the NFL gets it the best, is they try to build relationships with the
Oh, for sure.
with with the refs and with the players. And that's what you need to do. You need to have relationships with them, but you also need to respect the boundary that they represent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. There's definitely, you're right. Sports has, now this is totally diverged from what we were talking about, but
Right.
it is what it is. Real quick, before we bring on our guest, did you see that Jason Tatum scored 50 points 3 times this year? And on 2 of those nights, there were a no-hitter thrown in baseball.
There was another one thrown last night by
There was
a
a
Yankees player.
First of all, pitching in baseball is out of control this year. It's brilliant.
We're entering into another dead ball era of baseball.
Yeah.
Which I would like to talk about at some time. Not with this guest, obviously.
No, not with this guy.
But yeah, the coincidence is fan. And as a March brother with Tatum, yeah, dude, get it, son.
This is the first instance where a no-hitter in MLB history, over 100 years, where a no-hitter has been thrown with 1 or less days in between.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
We're going to get into that because there's a few. I watch enough
in
baseball
NBA
stuff.
off season.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into this.
We'll be right back, guys.
We got a surprise guest. Welcome back, everyone. I told you we'd be just a second, and we are back with a special guest. Back by popular demand, the gamer girl who knows almost nothing about hockey. How you doing today?
Not too bad. Taking a break from school to get this done, so.
Yeah, I gotta get her done. All right. Well, we are going to pick some hockey with you today. So the first round of the NHL playoffs is going on right now, and you have been watching how much?
0 games.
How much have you been watching? 0 games.
0.
Excellent. Wonderful.
That's the right answer. Yep.
So because we are a podcast about making wild, uneducated accusations and then apologizing for it later, we're going to do that here. So I'm going to have you pick the first round with all the information because they have been playing some games. And then we're going to keep it. Simeon's going to keep a tally. We're going to bring you back on for the second round, let you know how you did in the first, the second, and then the third. Stuff like that. Okay?
Makes sense.
All right. So first off, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders. The Penguins are first. The Islanders are fourth. And the series is tied currently at 1-1. The Islanders won the first game in OT, and the Penguins won the second. They were both 1-score games, or 1-point games.
Yeah, I do know that all of them have either been overtime or 1-point games, so I do know something.
Okay,
but I'm gonna have to go with the Penguins. I mean, Sidney Crosby, he can't be beat.
I think that's the right call there. There's more history. They kind of have the momentum against them. Islanders have been wavering. That's a good call.
Shut up, Simeon.
Hey, I pay attention.
Nothing.
I watch urinating tree, okay? Come
All
at
right.
me.
All right. The Washington Capitals, number 2 seed, versus the Boston Bruins. They have played 3 games thus far, and the Capitals, the higher seed Capitals, are down 2-1. All of the games have been in overtime. Game 3 even went to double overtime. Bruins are up 2-1. Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go Bruins just because I'm rooting against the Capitals after that terrible call with Wilson.
No, I disagree with your call against the call, but good call on the picking the Bruins.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm just going to be the podcast host who knows nothing about hockey and run along with that. Okay, the Central Division. The Carolina Hurricanes versus the Nashville Predators. That's the 1 and 4 seed. They have played 2 games thus far. The Hurricanes have dominated the Predators in both games, 5-2 and 3-0. Who you got?
The Preds hold a special place in my heart, so I'm just gonna go with the Preds.
Alrighty.
I think they're gonna do a comeback.
2 small town market teams. Tapped, I like it.
All right, you're both wrong because it looks like the Hurricanes have won in dominating fashions, but I don't know anything. The Florida Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Lightning call this the Battle of the Penis State. They have played 2 games thus far. Lightning have taken both. The first game was 5-4, and the second game was 3-1. Who you got?
Oh, I got Lightning. 100%.
Yeah,
they're just gonna
that's
sweep.
a good call. Battle over South Florida. Panthers have the worst uniforms in all of sports. Good call.
The Lightning are the reigning Stanley Cup champions, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And one of 5
Yep.
professional sports teams that have a singular name instead of a plural.
Okay, no one cares about that, Simeon. All right, let's go to the North Division. The Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Montreal Canadiens. No games have started yet. Who have blah blah blah? Who do you got here?
Blah blah blah.
I'm gonna go with Beeb's favorite team. So the Maple Leafs.
2 cursed teams, 2 teams that normally suck in the playoffs. Good call with the Maple Leafs.
All right, Simeon's still pretending like he knows stuff. We're gonna jump over here to more Canadian teams: the Edmonton Oilers, Oilers, and the Winnipeg Jets. All right, again, game 1 has been played. The Jets blew out the Oilers 4-1. I would assume that's a blowout in hockey. Yeah.
It's not a close game.
Okay, it depends. Okay, so the Jets are up 1-0. Who you got?
First, a blowout would be when the Avalanche scored 7 to Las Vegas Knights 0.
Oh.
That is a blowout game.
Okay, alrighty.
We get it. You're an Avs fan. Shut up.
No. I'm gonna go with the Jets. Just because
It's the
the
first.
Oilers are.
It's the first time in sport. It's the first time in sports history that anyone is picking the Jets in the playoffs.
Hey!
Oh.
Hold on. I'm not. Oh, I deleted it on accident.
Burn!
There it is.
All right. Well done. I feel like we know where this pick is going, the homer pick, but the number 1 in the West Division, number 1 Colorado Avalanche versus St. Louis Blues. We've played 2 games. The Avalanche are up 2-0, 4-1, and 6-3.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm just going to put in Avs. I'm not even going to have you answer that question.
Like Avs.
Okay.
No contest.
You do not deserve to stoop so low, Tabitha, to have to answer that question. You do not deserve to stoop so low.
All right. Going over, staying in the West Division, the number 2 seeded Vegas Knights versus the Minnesota Wild. Game 1 went to the Wild. Game 2 went to the Knights. We are tied at 1 game apiece. It's been close games, 1-0 in overtime in game 1 and 3-1 in game 2.
Okay, so my gut is telling me that the Wild are winning the entire Stanley Cup.
Whoa. Okay.
So I'm gonna have to go Wild.
Oh.
But I mean, between the Wild and the Knights,
Sure.
I think it's gonna be a close game.
Okay. Simeon, asterisk the Wild so that if Tabitha picks against the Wild in upcoming rounds, we can fillet her on the grill for that one.
That's fair, especially from the fact that they'll probably go up against what is the seed, right? What seed is this?
It's the
they're
all in like division. Yeah.
They won't go up against the Avs. Never mind.
Right. Okay, so Tabitha, since you're also here, we're going to pick some NBA action. Since you are the gamer girl who knows almost nothing about hockey, can I assume that you know literally nothing about basketball? Besides, how you play.
I could name like maybe 5 teams if I had a gun to my head.
Okay, excellent. Wonderful. That's what I like. So we're going to test the knowledge of the 2 guys who watch at least a little bit of the NBA against the girl who watches, again, next to no NBA, if none at all. All right.
I'd rather watch golf.
Wow. Okay. And that's saying something. PGA Tour is on right now.
Wow. Well, let's turn on some golf then. Yeah. All right. So Tabitha, there is a game tonight. You gonna figure that out?
I've been figured
All
it
right.
out.
All right. I like how you just gave up on talking. You're just like, yeah, I'm just. All right, Tabitha.
Sounds
There is a
work better.
game tonight. They are the Washington Wizards are playing the Indiana Pacers for the 8th seed tonight. Okay, so the NBA has a play-in tournament. The 7th through 10th seeds, they play a little tournament to decide the final 2 seeds in the NBA. If you haven't been paying attention to the podcast, okay. So the first round of play-in games are complete. So the 7th seeds in each conference, fair enough, have been decided. So this is for the 8th seed. So Washington taking on Indiana tonight. Who's going to be the 8th seed?
Pacers.
Okay. You have gone both against Simeon, make sure you write this down. You have gone against both me and Simeon, but I like it. This is why we have you on. In the Western Conference, it will be the Golden State Warriors against the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow night for the 8th seed. Who you got?
Can I ask how the Warriors are doing?
Sure. So the Warriors finished the season technically in the 8th seed, but if you're the 7th and the 8th, you have to play in this play-in tournament. They lost last night to the Lakers, who were the 7th seed by 3. They were winning most of the game. They are a strong championship level or championship, what's the word? Like mentality team. Yeah. They just don't have the talent to compete with the big boys. But they have the best player on the planet right now in Steph Curry, who is just absolutely insane right now.
I did know Steph Curry was on the team, so I mean, the not knowing anything about basketball girl in me just wants to pick Grizzlies because obviously that's a cooler name, but I think I'm going to have to go with Golden State Warriors.
Excellent. I'm also picking Golden State. If you're a great player, if you're a Hall of Fame player like Steph Curry, you don't let your team get bounced by a small market Memphis Grizzlies team and John Morant and Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
Exactly. Simeon, I would assume you got the Warriors too?
Oh, yeah. All white.
All right. So we're going to pick the first round now, Tabitha. Okay, ready? The number one, we're going to go start in the East. The number 1 seeded Philadelphia 76ers, okay, against your pick would be the Indiana Pacers.
I'm going to have to always vote against Philly because I almost died there. So.
Alrighty. I guess that's a song for another time.
Oh, right, I've been to an Avs Flyers game, and obviously I almost died.
Okay, yeah, obviously. Okay, so you are picking Indiana, a foolish pick, but that's all right. Philadelphia is going to win that one in 4 or 5 games. Simeon?
Yeah. No, I'm just, yeah.
Okay, all right. The 2-seeded Brooklyn Nets, they have the 3 superstars, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Blake Griffin is also on that team. Their team is basically loaded with superstars. The thing is, they haven't played a whole lot together this year because of either injury or COVID or Kyrie Irving doing whatever Kyrie Irving does against the Boston Celtics, who have really underachieved this year, but have a superstar in Jason Tatum, who just dropped 50 last night. Oh, you missed a fun fact.
I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean,
I'll let this finish.
Excellence.
The Jason Tatum he has scored 50 points 3 times this year, and a no-hitter in baseball has been thrown on 2 of those nights.
Coincidence? I think not.
Jinx.
That's exactly what I said. Also, he was born 7 days before me.
Wow. And look what you're doing with your life. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Nets.
All right. Finally, a level-headed pick from the gamer girl. I am also taking Brooklyn. Simeon, Brooklyn. Yep. Okay. Milwaukee has been flying under the radar. They have been the number 1 seed in the playoffs each of the last 2 seasons and have been bounced before making the NBA Finals. They are playing rather well. They will be taking on the Atlanta Hawks, who are young. They have the next. Yes.
Miami Heat.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah. The Miami Heat, who in the previous 2 year or last year bounced them from the playoffs in very strong fashion and have and has their number this year. Who do you got?
Also, can we just talk about how the Heat is a terrible name? So whichever one is not the Heat, because that was way too long for me to remember which one was the other one.
Okay, great. Another great pick. They have a great player name in Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's their superstar. He's great.
You know how
he's great. So
you
you'll
know
go
how
with the
I like
Milwaukee
to-
Bucks.
Yeah. I like to root for the teams with the guys that have the cool names. So
Excellent. Wonderful. So the Milwaukee Bucks it is. Excellent. I'm also taking the Milwaukee Bucks. They finally get over the hump. Drew Holiday's making a huge difference this year. Should be Defensive Player of the Year, but won't get it. Simeon?
Miami Heat, more like the Miami. So, yeah.
All right.
Bucks
Fair
all the way.
enough. All right. And Tabitha, the 4-5 matchup in the East. The New York Knicks, surprising everyone,
The New York Knickerbockers.
against the Atlanta Hawks. Again, these are both 2 very young teams, well-coached teams. They can score a lot of points. The Knicks play better defense than the Hawks, but the Hawks have more talent and scoring potential.
I'm going to base this one solely on their names and go with the Hawks.
You know, that's fair. Fun fact about this team, Simeon has to throw it in here, is the Atlanta, when Atlanta had a hockey team, that hockey team no one showed up to, and they moved to Winnipeg and became the Jets, and so Tabitha is picking 2 Atlanta teams. Smart move, Tabitha.
Wow.
Thanks.
Simeon, you know what? You don't contribute a lot to the podcast, but what you do, that was great. Wonderful.
My useless sports trivia, yeah.
I'm going to take the player and the coach who have been there before. Tom Thibodeau is the coach of the Knicks. He's been to an Eastern Conference Finals a few times with the Chicago Bulls. Derrick Rose also was on those teams. I'm going to also take Julius Randle. I just think that the Atlanta Hawks can't stop him. Trae Young's too small. He'll be bothered. I'm going to take the New York Knicks.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, Tabs.
Oof.
Love you, but the worst name in all of sports, going with them.
All right. So out west, you picked Memphis, right, Tabitha?
That was a long time ago.
West was the Warriors. No. Warriors.
Oh, she picked the Warriors. Okay, so we all picked the
Warriors.
Right. Okay,
right.
We all picked the Warriors. Excellent. So it will be the Utah Jazz, the surprise 1 seed out west, against the Golden State Warriors. Utah is probably the best all-around team in basketball, both offensively and defensively, and I already told you what Golden State's all about. Who you got?
I think I'm going to go with Golden State.
Alrighty, another dumb pick by the gamer girl, Tabitha, or Simeon.
Utah Jazz also used to be in New Orleans and then migrated to the Mormon State, which is why they're the Utah Jazz. And yeah, they're the best team. Sorry.
And
Steph won't be able to
I was wondering about that, honestly, because Utah does not strike me as a Jazz state.
Yeah.
So
I'm very confused when this became the Fun Fact podcast. The Phoenix Suns taking on the Los Angeles Lakers.
No one cares!
The Los Angeles Lakers have been hurt. That was their biggest storyline. LeBron James has been hurt for close to a quarter of the season. So has their second superstar, Anthony Davis. So they have not played together a whole lot. The Phoenix Suns are a young core led by Chris Paul, who Basically took a non-playoff team last year to the second seed, right? And they finished only one game out of first place. Who you got, the Suns or the Lakers?
Well, are the 2 injured players playing?
Yes.
Or are they still out?
They just came back
Okay.
before the playoffs, and they don't look in shape, according to Simeon, who watched the game last night.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Suns. I don't think they can bounce back fast enough.
So this is, I'm going to say, like Lee Corso on College Game Day. Great pick, Tabitha. This is a scary series to pick because LeBron is so great. But listen, Chris Paul is healthy, and he has much better weapons. DeAndre Ayton will bother Anthony Davis enough, and no one can stop Devin Booker when he gets cooking. Simeon?
I'm still offended from last time, but you're both right.
All right, great. The Denver Nuggets, who probably have the MVP on their team in Nikola Jokic. He literally leads the Denver Nuggets in every single statistical category except 2.
Steals.
Right? Steals.
One. It's just blocks or steals, one of the 2.
It's one of the 2. Excellent.
Yeah.
And they will be going up against the Portland Trailblazers, who have my favorite player in the NBA, Damian Lillard. He is known for his very, very long-range three-pointers he can make, like longer than Steph Curry, and he's also known for Dame time. Who you got?
Because I don't care, I'm just gonna stick with Denver. So, play in the same arena as the Abs.
The Pepsi Center.
The Pepsi
The
Center.
Ball Center.
Oh, they changed their name this year?
Yeah,
the ball
it's
as
the
in
Ball Center now.
As
in the jars.
What?
The glass jars.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tabitha, you must come on the podcast more, dropping knowledge. Again, everyone, the 4th and 1 podcast is now being renamed.
It's Ball Arena.
Oh, yeah, Arena. My bad.
We're being renamed to the Fun Fact Podcast 101.
What? The ball? Like, what?
This is probably, this is now the headline of the podcast right here.
I am...
I'm actually going to take the Portland Trailblazers in this one. I'm going to step out on a ledge. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are hot. They were 8-2 down the stretch, and Denver was only 4-6. Portland's very hot. They've been in playoff mode for the last month, and I think that they have the firepower to take down the Nuggets. Simeon.
When you have the MVP who should be unanimous, you don't pick against the MVP who should be unanimous. Portland Nuggets all the way.
Oh, Simeon, I love your takes. You're just very concise today. All right, and then finally, the 4 and 5 seed, Los Angeles Clippers, Tabitha, who were supposed to win the championship last year because they had all this firepower. They got a little weaker at some positions this year because of free agency and trading away some people, but they are still strong. They finished the regular season 4-6, but really didn't care down the stretch because they locked up the playoffs. They only care about health. They are taking on the Dallas Mavericks, who have probably the best next young superstar in Luka Doncic. They are known as the European team. Basically everyone on their team is from Europe.
What was the first team again?
The Los Angeles Clippers or the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks are owned by Mark Cuban, who is on Shark Tank, if that helps your rationale.
I did actually know that.
All right. Way to be.
Or how. I'm going to go with Clippers.
Okay. Solid pick. I think Clippers are my dark horse to win the whole thing this year. I'm also taking the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is the mid-range sniper. Simeon?
I'm just blown by the fact that
we're still on this.
We're still back there.
$11.6 billion in revenue a year.
From glass jars.
From glass jars. And they also do other stuff too. But, like, what the actual heck? Okay.
This ball company, can they sponsor our podcast? Because we're a huge fan all of a sudden.
I mean,
Can
we've
they
always been a huge
legit?
fan.
Can they legitimately sponsor our podcast? Not none of this Do Care business or ranch dressing. Can they like legitimately sponsor the podcast, please?
I just
I-
my mind is blown.
I mean, they're the glass jars I use, so like,
They're the
why
glass
not?
jars everyone uses. You want ball jars. They've been around since 1880. Okay, I'm picking. I think I have to pick the Clippers, even though I want to pick the Mavs.
Okay.
What the heck? My mind is I'm just gone. I'm gone. I'm just
But
ball jars? Ball jars! What the heck? How? How does glassware and I guess aerospace bring in $11.6 billion in 2018? With $16 billion in total assets. What? Your jars!
each of those
What's
jars.
my favorite thing? What are these jars made of? Like uranium?
Gold,
Lord.
clear gold.
Just clear gold. Refined clear
Yeah.
gold. Clear
Yeah.
gold.
Excellent. So, what we've learned in this podcast so far is that glass jars are worth a lot of money, billions of dollars, clearly. Tabitha, I have made a note here. People who strictly use the back door of their house should get their life together. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay. First of all, when you
wait,
have people
wait.
come over and people go to the front door, but you're a normal backdoor family, then it just feels weird. And you know when you walk in and you use someone's front door and they're a backdoor family, and you're just like, this just feels wrong. Like the vibe about this house is all off. You know what I'm talking about? Like these people need to get their
Yeah,
life together.
Because they're like, why are you coming to this door? And you're like, why aren't you using this door?
Right.
Because that's the obvious choice.
It's a perfectly good door. Use it.
Especially if the back door is behind a fence.
Yeah.
Like,
And Carrie made a good point. Carrie, if you're down there, get up here. Nope, guess she's not down there. Okay. Because she made this point, because then if like you have a back door that's kind of just on the side of the house and a front door, you don't know, and you've been there like once before, but you use the front door, but then they use the back door later. You don't know which door to go to, and they both have doorbells on them, and you're just like, I don't know what doorbell to ring. You know, like
seriously though.
like Simeon, you like this note in the doc. Are you still seriously on glass jars?
Yeah, yeah. First of all, the glass jars that we know aren't even owned by the Ball Corporation anymore. They're subsidized. They're licensed out to a different brand. So I don't know. They make tons of money. They acquired a Brazilian company for $80 million last year. Like, my life has been a lie this entire time. And why are people crazy? You have a front door. Your house was designed.
Oh, here we go. Finally. Finally, back on planet Earth here.
No,
It's just gotta catch up.
Like,
for some reason in my
they
mind,
they acquired an aluminum aerosol can bottling company in 2010 for $292 million. What?
Thank you.
What?
You. I'm such a better person.
They
for
used to
knowing
be
that.
in Muncie, and now they're in Westminster, Colorado, which is why they have that. But like, how do you make your money? How?
I think it's drugs.
Probably.
Drugs.
Are you putting cocaine in the glass and then shipping the glass, and then you melt the glass down and get coke? Like,
drugs. Okay.
For some reason though, in my brain, the fact that the hockey team that's owned by the Walmart heiress playing in the glass jar arena just makes sense. Like, those two things just make sense together.
The Colorado Avalanche are owned by the Walmart heiress.
Yeah, one of the only teams owned by a woman.
You are bringing so much knowledge. Eventually, we'll have to upgrade your name from Gamer Girl who knows almost absolutely nothing about hockey to Gamer Girl who knows hockey. Almost.
Well, I mean, now that the NHL will actually be able to stream my team on a platform that I can watch, I
Yeah.
look forward to actually watching games next year.
You look forward to being upgraded in name
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Yeah.
Excellent. Wonderful. Tabitha, I just had a few more thoughts as Simeon's mind is continued to be blown here about glass jars. The Friends reunion show is going to drop May 27th. It's going to suck, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Oh my goodness. And I think it's a legitimate reunion. So they just brought them all together and then they had some like friend show activities and some things that they did from previous episodes that they're going to do in this episode. I wanted a full-blown Friends episode and I'm not going to get it. And Matthew Perry, it looks like he had a stroke and it just makes me sad. So I'm probably going to turn it off halfway through.
Well, and don't everyone in the cast hate Matthew Perry?
At one point, yeah, that's why they stopped working together and they stopped talking to him because he was high on Vicodin for most of the show and he was drunk most of the time. There was a lot of drama. Now they're all back together, and Carrie sent me a message yesterday that says, "Why does it look like they're all high on cocaine and Botox?" And I said, "Because they are." But at least we know where they got their cocaine from.
Hey!
The glass jars.
Except, I just figured they don't make glass jars.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you need to move on. Okay,
I can't.
seriously.
I can't.
Tabitha, do you know how the NHL Hall of Fame system works? Like, do you have to be retired and then wait a certain amount of time before you go into the Hall of Fame?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Excellent. So the NBA, if you're a player, you have to wait 5 years after you played your last game to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. But if you're a coach, you can still be an active coach and get into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, weird.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves in all of sports. If you're in any Hall of Fame, you shouldn't be allowed to be active and be in the Hall of Fame. Except if you're a broadcaster, because that's different, because most broadcasters go until they're like 80 and then they retire and they die the next day. So, I mean, yeah, you would like that. But it's just, really, you're updating my spelling of Hall of Fame during the podcast, and I'm going to delete it in exactly like 3 minutes.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Mom. His grammar sucks. Like, sorry, Mom. Shut up. His grammar sucks. Like, you capitalize Hall of Fame. It's a proper noun. And you also had Hall like an A earlier. Fame.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Okay? You know what? I am from the streets of Lidditz, Pennsylvania. There are streakers every single day that run down our street and interrupt the ice festival in the middle of summer. I don't even want to hear it. Tabitha, listen to the pod.
What? What? Nothing like that happens in Maytown.
Yeah, that's because it's Maytown.
Okay, Tabitha.
Horse and buggies.
Tabitha, what do you think is harder to win an NFL or a championship in, the NBA or the NFL?
Do you just want me to guess, or do you want me to ask questions about that?
Either one. Again, you can just make a wild accusation, or you can try to make an educated guess.
Well, I'm going to do both. So first, I'm going to say it's harder for the NFL, but my question would be, of the teams in both leagues, how many of them have won? Like, if there are 32 teams in the NFL, have 30 of them won?
Nice job.
Oh, I see. In which league has more teams won in? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like have every team won at least once?
The answer is
20
no.
franchises for the Super Bowl. So you're missing
20 out
12,
of 20.
32.
Yep, 20 out of 32.
Which, good job remembering the number of teams in the NFL. I'm very impressed.
And
But
then
it's very similar to hockey, so
the NBA there are 30, I believe.
there are only 30 teams in the NBA.
Yeah. And how many have won?
Teams that won.
Although NBA is probably kind of harder because there are some franchises that did exist that no longer exist, but I'm going to guess it's less.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, here we go. Results by team: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 teams have not won.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's
So the
roughly
NBA, more teams have won
and that
than the
includes
NFL.
like their old teams when they were at a different city or whatever.
Okay, great.
So I was right. It is harder for the NFL.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Oh no, I lied.
I'm
I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
He's probably
6,
reading
7,
about his
8,
glass
9,
jars.
10, 11, 12, 13. 13 teams have not won a championship.
So it's roughly the same.
So I was wrong.
Well, it's roughly the same. Anyway, Kendrick Perkins, who's a basketball player, I asked this, made a wild accusation and said that it's much harder to win a championship in the NBA, and he did it based on the number of games. You have to win. Each series is 7 games, and you have to. It's best out of 7, right? So there's a chance that you have to win 28 games compared to if you're a team in the NFL, you would only have to win 3 or 4, depending on if you got a first round bye. And
Yeah.
but the thing is, with the NBA, you can be down 2-0, 3-0. I mean, similar to hockey, you can be down 2-0, 3-1, 3-0, and come back and win. And most of the time, at least in basketball, the better team wins, no matter if it's best of 7. In the NFL, you have one bad game, you're out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Simeon, so Kendrick Perkins has always been a joke. He kind of just rode Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Rajon Rondo to a championship.
100%.
You agree it's much harder to win?
In the NFL, just because it's more physical for sure. Sorry. By the way, don't make glass jars. Aluminum cans.
Ball?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they make aluminum
and like spray cans. Yeah, now.
Okay.
The people who own Yankee Candle are the people who make ball jars. And Sharpie.
All right.
Same people. Yeah.
Well, to steal a quote from Jeremy Clarkson, and on that bitterly disappointing statement, we have come to the end of our show. This has been the 4th and 1 podcast. Thank you so much, Tabitha, for joining us. Gamer girl who almost knows nothing about hockey. Thank you so much for joining us, taking time out of your busy schedule. We're going to definitely have to have you back on to pick the 2nd and 3rd rounds of both NBA and NHL. Simeon, thank you for getting your mind blown and just overall doing a okay job at what you're doing.
Take a nap.
And
mediocre.
Everyone, as always, wash your hands because y'all are filthy animals. God bless you all. Please be kind to one another. Don't be mean. Have a conversation, not a crucifixion. That's not a word. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, it is. Totally a word. Bye.